Hello, everyone. We are just hopping into a quick campfire chat whilst we get this game set up. I would like to welcome the second caster of the day. Joining me, it is Tobi. Tobi, how are you?
Hello there, Zach. I'm doing pretty good today. I'm excited for our matchup. We will see Rapture versus Sinners facing off in just a moment, and we have some pretty interesting sets.
Yeah, so we're going to be starting with a nurse set, and that's going to be on Deadlock Saloon. Super excited for it, but it is quite a standard set, so I think we might be in for a bit of a close game. I think Sinners are a more long-standing team than Rapture. Sinners have been playing in our previous seasons, and they are established really good team. So I think they're going to be posing a bit of a challenge for Rapture. I remember Rapture playing. Unfortunately, they did make it through the group stage of All Hallows League 2024, dropping to Eternal in the losers bracket. But they did show that they are a really strong team. So I think that they will give Sinners a run for their money. Yeah, I don't know. We have the first two sets, Nurse starting us off and then Wraith afterwards. So two, I think, pretty standard killers as far as the league is concerned. So yeah, I don't know. It could be close. Do you have any idea of who might win this set, Tobi?
Personally, when we look back a year, Phenom was playing for Sinners. He was like the nurse guy, and everyone was banning nurse against Sinners because this guy was just so good on nurse. I don't know who's their nurse player now because we only see the survivor side of Sinners right now, but they used to play pretty good on the nurse survivor side as well. I'm not quite sure how good Rapture is on the nurse. Fast, he did play a couple of games back in AHL, but I can't remember whether it was like a really, really good performance or just like the standard 4K one nurse we often see. And we are on a different map than usually. Normally, we see nurse on like Cold Tower maps or Groaning Storehouse, but that dog is a little bit different. So we will see how this one turns out.
Yeah, I have seen. I believe I did cast a Dead Dog Saloon Nurse game once, and I think it was actually my debut. It was Eternal versus Loyalty, and we had. I can't remember who it was. I think it was easy on the Nurse for Loyalty, but it is quite a small map, so you do have some areas quite strategically well placed to die. But in terms of the nurse, on a map like Dead Dog Saloon, she's just able to get around so quickly, right? So it could go either way. Yeah, it was like a 3-gen scenario, I think, and they were all whittling down the gens, but the distance was just too far for the nurse. I mean, they had the perfect scenario. So I'm wondering if maybe we'll get into a situation like that again. I'm not sure. We're just waiting for the players to ready up, and yeah, I don't know. Like you say, nurse, typical setting you'll see on Macmillan Estate. So Dead Dog Saloon, a bit of a curveball. I wonder if there's any particular strategies in mind for the players. We are going to be seeing Rapture on Killer first into the Sinner Survivors. So we will see. We're just loading in now to the map. And yeah, I can't wait. I didn't believe I've casted Sinners playing before. I've done for Rapture. No, never mind. I think both teams for me, my first time seeing them play. But ladies and gentlemen in the audience, you have seen these teams play before, so you may have some more expectations for how they're going to perform. Yep, just loading in now.
I mean, just for Sinners, they are the best team in South America, considered by many as one of the stronger teams we have at all in the world. And they really performed in a few tournaments, like the Winter Circuit last year. They got really, really far. I guess they were 3rd or 4th place even. So they really know how to play their sets, and they are a really experienced competitive team.
Yeah, so clearly going to see some good performance here in this set today, as we are finding our first survivor of the game. That is Vinny, spotted out by Fasty over there behind the shops. And see some Scratchmark's going to try and follow where he is. And we see Predator in play. That is a recently reworked perk as when the survivor loses chase, their aura is revealed to the nurse. So has been utilized really nicely. by Nurse players before. And that's going to be a nice first hit. As we see, I believe the undetectable add-on, the last breath. I'm going to take it to edge map. Yeah, so a lot of foliage on this side of the map. Well, Vinny's going to go down. But yeah, it might be potentially where they want to take the chases. The visibility around these edge map tiles. There are quite a few on Dead Dog, and you have all the cactus as well. So clearly you see the strategic death there in the corner. Trying to create as much distance as you can between the nurse and wherever they're working on those gens. But yeah, nice early down for Vinny. I think that's a good start.
Yeah, absolutely. They were able to trade one generator for the first down, but Vinny had like nothing to play on this side of the map, so it was a relatively quick down at 56 seconds in the trial. The average downtime for all the killers we have at the moment, I got statistics for that, is 1 minute and 40 seconds. So we are far ahead of that, and for the nurse it's just 1 minute 30 seconds. So good job by Fasti on the nurse getting that down so early and putting a lot of pressure onto Sinners right from the beginning.
Yeah, and was able to tag Sweet Child there, which is good because you're spreading pressure from those injuries and able to sort of make it back to Hook as well to get that injury onto the Claudette, the Jason. Yeah, gonna look to tunnel out Vinny here. Pretty standard stuff you see from the nurse, trying to bring it to a 3v1. And I'd say Fasty's sort of translated the chase onto the next pretty nicely. I think the pressure that he's put on the survivors so far is pretty good. Vinny's going to be running into the main building, and looks like chase is going to be continued. And the Predator value, but not able to reach that swing. Vinny's wasting a lot of time for the team right now. We hear a totem cleansed in the background. We have Wretched Fate and Ruin in play. Pretty passive puck you don't have to worry about. But, oh wow, Vinny's playing this really nicely. Not able to land the blinks in the right place. And Vinny's just wasting as much time as possible. Going to go down eventually.
Yeah, really good chase by Vinny. Oh, there's the D-strike as well. He used the main building really to his advantage. Managed to make Fasti misblink 2 times already, but this chase is gonna be a lot shorter. He's like on the edge of the map. There are no pallets there, so this down is relatively quick. But we do not see any more generators popping at the moment. But there should be at least 2 more generators in the works. There's 1 at least. And maybe when we switch to the spectator side in a little moment, we can see how far the generators are progressed for Sinners, but there should be at least 1 more generator relatively far progressed.
I think they opted to reset. You see the injuries have gone, so that may have eaten into the gen time a little bit. But he's able to find Gustavo, that main building, and the Predators allowed him to sort of track where he's gone. Puck definitely speaks for itself. And yeah, there's not much distance between them. We'll see Gustavo can sort of try and wait as much time as possible, allowing his team to get the unhook. And unfortunately, not going to be able to blink past that rock. And Gustavo's going to make it to edge map. Play this tile really well. And you see all of these chases, they're taking the nurse right to the edge of the map. And it's because they want to buy time. On a short map, like on a not like it's not the biggest map, so you do want to create that distance, and they seem to be doing it really well. The unhook and reset comes through onto Vinny, but Vinny's been found again. A gen does pop, so down to 2 gens remaining. Gustavo's going to be left sleeping on the floor over there, and as chase ended, that is going to be Predator coming into play. And yeah, Vinny does go down. D-strike already been used, so nothing to save him this time, unfortunately. But yeah, the gen efficiencies seems to be pretty good, and they've managed to get Gustavo up off the ground and reset. So they're combating this pressure, I would say, pretty nicely. First kill of the game, down to a 3v1 with 2 gens remaining. Has this sort of regen over here, which he may look to defend. But yeah, as far as nurse sets go, I think this is going pretty smoothly for Fasti.
Yeah, but also Sinners can be pretty proud of themselves for the result they have at the moment. We have 1 survivor eliminated, but already 3 generators completed. Ruin is gone now, so we only have 1 more hex perk. The nurse is playing with only 2 perks now, and they're really doing a good job at dragging the nurses from one place to another. So they have the time to work on the remaining generators. Oh, this is a hit. Okay, Sweetchild goes down there, but there should be at least one more generator completed in the next seconds. There's the last totem gone. This could look like a 4K1, what we usually see on Nurse, but maybe Sinners got us with a surprise and we see more than one generator completed in the next few minutes.
Yeah, we see Gustavo 50% on a 4th gen there, so they are working through it. Like you say, 4K1, because I don't think Fasty is particularly interested in that gen because, yeah, hasn't really gone in that area. We see Jason here lurking for a save. And yeah, it's going to really test the communication with the rods. It's going to actually opt to try and check this gen over here. It's relatively closer than what you would see some other gens be in the map. And yeah, Gustavo's just going to stealth and walk over to this side. Didn't get into chase, so there's no predator in use. And is he going to be found in this bush? He is, yeah. You're not particularly camouflaged as well as you might be, as well as you might want to be. And yeah, it's going to go down on that pallet, not able to really make any distance, trying to buy as much time as possible. And that is what is that? Yeah, that is second wind in play for Sweetchild, so don't want to get confused with Deliverance or anything like that. But yeah, gonna stealth. Don't really want to let the nurse sort of chain into chases or anything like that. You see them stealthing and playing it a little bit slow. But Gustavo is going to be hooked down the bottom of the main street, away from the gens. So how they decide to play this, save? It seems like they just want to hide from the nurse right now and just slow it down a little bit. Not sure what the game plan is.
The problem is both of them would have to cross the main street, but the nurse is patrolling near Shack really, really well. Fasty did a really good job at guessing which generator Gustavo might be on, and now he gets rewarded for it. We have the hook on the main street, and as I said, both survivors need to cross some way or another to get Gustavo unhooked and buy themselves more time. They could double a generator in the distance because I think we have one more generator in the corner behind the gallons, but I don't think they will double it as far as I'm aware. We will see one more generator at least. No, there's only we Jason. Sweetchild is still hovering. Gustavo's entering second stage, and now the nurse is free to roam and go for more pressure.
Yeah, I want to compare this. When I was talking earlier about the Dead Dog Saloon nurse set that we saw at Loyalty versus Eternal, it was the same similar situation. So they were gradually working down those generators while stealthing, so the nurse couldn't see it. So it was really, like, I would say, quite drawn out, but it was a strategy that worked, and it seems like it's what Sinners want to employ here. As soon as that nurse has left, the resets come through onto Gustavo, and you can see that there's progression, like slowly but surely, being acquired by these survivors. And Jason's going to be on this gen relatively close to the nurse, but yeah, you can see they're pushing these two separate gens, both sides of the map. And yeah, Jason's going to be found because didn't quite have the sort of pre-run ability as before. And yeah, going to secure a hook stage. And look, they're running to the side of the map where there's just nothing. Yeah, Sweetchild's going to be jumping onto the Claudette's gen. Yeah, I was just looking at the HUD. You can see Sweetchild there finishing Claudette's gen and oh, never mind. Sorry, it was Gustavo. It's Gustavo on the Claudette's gen, and Sweetchild was finishing the other one.
Get both of them.
Around, but they get all the gens done. So this is really good coordination from the survivors, and they've got all the gens completed. Fasty not able to defend the gens and overcommits on the Claudette, and Unbreakable is in play, yeah, and not used yet for Jason. So that is the Deliverance Survivor 2. So going to be able to look after himself in the event of a hook, and yeah, the gates are going to be opened, I imagine, there.
They played this so slow and methodically. They managed to pop both generators while Jason was in chase. The survivor with Unbreakable and the... Oh, I forgot the perk name.
Deliverance?
Yeah. Deliverance, yeah. In play, and this is only 6 stages. This looked like a 4K1 at one point, but they managed to play it slow, methodically, and got 3 survivors out. I'm quite impressed by the approach of Sinners.
Yeah. They played the map perfectly and how exactly you should do against the nurse. On one of the smaller maps, you just want to split the gem pressure from the opposite sides of the chase. So, really well orchestrated. Super excited to see what Sinner's Killer can do. I don't think it's going to be the hardest result to match. So the survivor side really setting up quite nicely for their killer. But we're going to take a very short break and we'll be right back with the return fixture.
Welcome back, everyone. We are back at the Dead Dog Saloon. We do see SMS for real on the nurse against the survivors of Team Rapture, featuring Fasty, Game Over, Crow, and Ryan. So we had like a 56-second chase last time we saw the nurse on the Dead Dog Saloon. We do have a relatively early first hit here onto Fasty. Let's see whether we can beat that record. The fastest down so far, and the Winter Circuit is, by the way, 15 seconds, and here we do have 31. It's like, what does a 31-second first down do with you?
Yeah, I think it was the fact that he wasn't able to make distance there towards sort of the edge of the map, and the patience from the nurse really paid off there. And that's going to be a really, really quick corrupt intervention. And has a nice little balcony here to watch the rest of the map. Pop going to be applied, and Eruption is also in place. So see a couple of slowdown perks there, a little bit different to the Ruin that we saw. No Predator either, so relatively different build. We do see the Wretched Fate still in play also, so that's going to be a bit of a, almost like a pentamento for the Obsession, so that's going to be on the Zarina Rion. And quite a central hook here, so able to really kind of watch the surroundings. They're going to be doubling this gen in the corner. And the Tap, who does have the Deliverance, is going to be setting up for the save as well, so cure this. Unhook here, and is it going to be a trade? Looks like it might be. Yeah. Going to force the trades. Potentially look to tunnel out Fasty. Yeah, it's going to be trying to get Fasty out of the game as soon as possible. And I do wonder if Game Over was working on a gen over on the other side of the map, because they were doubling that one in the corner. So you would like to see a bit more progression, I would hope, to combat the tunneling happening right now. It looks like they moved on to Gallows and actually going to opt to slug Fasty. I don't know if it's because he's found Crow, wants to try and put the pressure on. We do know Game Over has Unbreakable, so it can be used.
Yeah, exactly.
And the down's going to happen onto Crow, so a bit of pressure ramping up for the survivors. A bit more of a shaky start compared to last game. It could lead into bigger things potentially, Tobi.
Yeah, absolutely. But I do think Game Over did not use his Unbreakable. Maybe Ryan walked all the way over to pick him up, because otherwise there is a perk relatively early gone for the Survivor team. And Game Over was on the ground for a little while, so he could have picked him up earlier if he wanted to. But we do see 2 downs after the slug SMS did to the Survivor team of Rapture. We do see Fasty in the second hook stage already. So the tunnel out is in full force, and we have like no gen progress for the survivor side of Rapture. Game Over started to work on a gen, but the other survivors were busy in chase, being slugged on the ground or picking up other survivors. So this is looking vastly different from our last trial.
Yeah, we see Game Over was able to reset himself with his medkit, so Rion was able to run over for the save onto Crow, and the full resets happened. So we do have Fasty on the hook still, and they are trying to work these gens. Still at 4 gens though, so really not quite as efficient as we saw last game. Maybe we owe that to the aggression, but going to apply Eruption on that Water Tower gen. We see Eruption applied on the main gen too. And Totem going to be cleansed. It's going to be Wretched Fate leaving the trial. And Game Over has been found going for the unhook. Remember, this is the Deliverance Survivor, so the team are not going to have to worry about that. But we'll just see how long Fasty can last. It is a nurse, and I don't think he has quite as much distance as he wants yet. Able to read that double back, and that's going to be a really fast down and kill onto Fasty. It's going to be the Mori as well. So yeah, 4 gens remaining. 1 survivor out the trial. This is not looking good for the Rapture survivors.
Yeah, absolutely. Fast is already eliminated. At the same time, in the first trial we had in the nurse set, there were already 3 generators completed. There will be a second one for Team Rapture relatively soon, but... Oh no, there's a grab! Oh no! This is so unfortunate for Ryan. But the perfect blink from SMS denies the second generator, and this is snowballing out of control right now.
Two. No, that's pop and eruption applied on the furthest progressed gen. We've got Crow, who was on Gallows, I believe. Game over. I think he went for the unhook. He's not broken. I think the unhook came through instead of the deli being used. But Crow gonna run over for Rion's unhook, and yeah, that's really unfortunate. They're not able to get that gen done, and the nurse did fatigue, so not able to make it over there before the unhook comes through. So no trade going to be forced, which is ideal in a situation like this. It looks like the decisive strike on Rion trying to bait, but SMS gonna read that pretty nicely. Reset comes through onto game over across the map, and seems like SMS has sort of lost track of the. Oh, never mind. Finds Crow and working on the gen, and gonna continue chase. Maybe he wants to kick. Yeah, can see like Rion's trying to pressure that gen. They do really want to get some gens completed, and I think SMS is pressuring them so well. They're always unhooking, always healing, and he has complete control over the map right now.
The thing is, the win condition is so hard for Rapture right now, because Ryan's DS is most likely run out by the time, and we do have only 1 completed generator, and 1 survivor is already dead. We have 1 survivor slugged to the ground. Game over, and Crow might be working on a different generator right now. So yeah, we do see them on 2 separate generators, but this might simply not be enough to go through with it. This is, if I'm counting right, the 6th hook stage we have. So this is at least a tie right now. And 1 more hook stage, and this set goes to Sinners.
Yep. Very quick work by SMS. And unfortunately, the survivor's not able to combat the pressure that he's applied to them. Rion's going to be left on the ground because of that decisive. Is he going to pick up? No, he's going to Mori him. Never mind. Second stage. That is going to... Like Prion was saying last game, the change for the Ebony Mori is going to deny the DS. So we do see that difference there in that balance change. It's very beneficial for the killers to have that available to them. That's going to be 2 survivors out of the trial, 3 gens remaining, and that's going to be, wow, they've taken this set, so super well played. And I think that the sort of start of the game really sort of snowballed for SMS now, so yeah, well played to Sinners for taking the first set of the game. Finds Crow over here at Water Tower. I'm going to continue chase around the edge map. It's going to lead to a hit. Very nicely, and yeah, game over. Going to be somewhere on the map. Hey, working on a nice dead hard from Crow. Really good, well-timed dead hards there. Denying the down, delaying the unfortunate inevitable that is going to be a down there. Yep, onto Crow, and going to be slugging, trying to find where that detective tap is. And the answer is at Water Tower, and him completing that generator is going to be the sign to say, hey, I'm over here, come and chase me. Crow probably not got enough recovery for the pickup to happen. And yeah, we see some scratch marks. So nose in the air, yeah, going to be found at this pallet. And that is going to be the final down of the game. So Sinners, like you say, strong team, showing why they are strong. This is the new nurse player that you were talking about, a little bit different to what we saw before on Sinners, but a very strong showing from them. Tobi.
Yeah, it looks like SMS is just as good as Phenom was when he was playing on Sinners. So really good result on both Survivor and Killer side, and pretty convincing set win for Sinners, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna hug this last Survivor in the basement. and that is going to be the first set. So next set we will see a Wraith on mid-witch, which is an interesting... Oh, the Deadly's going to be used. Maybe calling for a 1v1. They're going to close shack. Yeah, we'll see Wraith next, which is a bit of a different killer on a different map. So the different playstyles might be employed. Mori going to come through. Yeah.
Yeah, Wraith is quite interesting, as you said. Even on a map like Midwich, normally we do see Wraith on maps like Dead Dog Saloon, but Midwich is an indoor map, and it's all about the communication between the survivor roster. It feels like a dredge sometimes, but we will see how the Wraith set will play out after a short break. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Midwich Elementary School. Let's begin with some housekeeping before we start into the trial, as we already found our first survivor. Rapture brought the wrong perk, and now they are playing with only 3 perks on that survivor, and the penalty for bringing a false perk into the trial is half a hook stage penalty. So, without further ado, let's get into the action with a relatively quick hit onto Fasti. Zach, take it away.
Yeah, so we see Sloppy Butcher in play. I was hinting at that at the start of the first initial game, because we do see a quite common hit and run strategy on Wraith, spreading pressure through injuries and slowing down the healing is going to buy him time, especially when he's able to move around the map really fast. So it is a pretty like a common strategy you see on Wraith, and see he's already secured his second injury, so a really good start to the game. No hook stage secured, but might be that it's not what he's looking for initially. But it's going to continue chase on to Ada, and reset comes through onto Fasti, so that pressure initially is gone, but does answer with a down. So that is going to be first hook of the game, going to be the first stack of Grim Embrace applied. And yeah, I think that's a pretty quick first chase, considering already had 2 injuries on the board.
Yeah, absolutely. We do have the first round coming in at 1 minute 14, so this is relatively quick, especially for a Wraith set. If you give me a second, I can give you the exact time a Wraith normally needs. It's 1:17, so we are just in line, actually.
We're within expectations.
Yeah, within expectations. We do have another injury onto game over. We did hear a generator relatively far progressed upstairs, but no generator popping yet. We do see the unhook onto Ryan, and Wraith sets tend to be a bit slower, especially because the Wraith is trying to injure as many survivors as possible, but it looks like we go for the tunnel out instead here onto Ryan.
Yeah, and even though taking hits protects the tunnel out, it does essentially slow down the game still. So it's a win-win situation. Oh, hit not going to quite connect onto Rion there as he continues around. Going to break that pallet. Does have Shadow Dance for the faster breaking, and also quicker gen kicks. And yeah, down going to go fast. Going to go down pretty quickly, I would say, onto Ryan, despite the hit tank. So we have 2 injuries on the board and a second hook stage for Rion. A gen does pop in the distance, so they are working those. And yeah, so the progression of this elimination coming in probably quite well, as quick as SMS probably hopes. And yeah, just gonna be looking around the map to see where these gens are being worked on. And yeah, sees Fasti, I believe, working a second gen. That's gonna be everyone injured now. Does opt not to commit because that gen is done. Wants to see where the progression is on the map.
Yeah, the Wraith trial gets... sorry for interrupting you. The Wraith trial gets really hard to play for the survivor side when the first survivor is out of the trial, because in a 3v1 scenario you have most likely 3 injured survivors. You do have to work on generators and have no time to reset. We do have another down onto Crow. Nobody is going for the rescue at the moment. Never mind, someone was going for the rescue. I just saw game over crouching in the corner and assumed that Fasti was still working on the generator. So we do have 2 hook stages onto Ryan. Crow is slugged to the ground, but if we find Ryan immediately, we do have the immediate tunnel out, and now this trial is going really, really well for SMS. Maybe he can snowball off of it.
Yeah, that's going to make it so much harder for the survivors now. You have all your survivors, well, all your remaining survivors injured and essentially facing death anytime the Wraith appears. And then they're going to have to play this really carefully and probably a bit slower. But Fasty's already been found. Game over there, working on the 3rd generator. Looks like they were doubling it, actually. And he's able to block the pallet, so that's not good. That's going to be tap out the, well, down out for the count. Crow's going to continue chase. And does he opt to slug here? Yeah. Yeah, breaking that pallet and looking around, see if maybe you can find Crow where Crow went. And Crow has not made much distance. Is it this pallet here? And I think he's managed to block the pallet. That's so devastating. No, that's going to be 2 downs, and Eruption pops on that gen that he kicked. And Fasty, who was working courtyard, is going to probably be running over for that save. Yeah, it looks like he does get the pickup. First hook stage for Crow, and has now information on where all of the remaining survivors are. So it looks like he might be trying to close this game out pretty simply.
SMS is in such a good position now. There is the next survivor already in sight. Game over already vaulted. It might... Does he get that? Okay, we get the immediate pallet drop. But again, Fasty has to rotate towards the unhook now and cannot afford to work on the generator realistically. If you want to keep the pressure up onto SMF, we do see the unhook, but SMS already on the way back there. And most likely we will see SMS trying to go for Crow here, but no, he decides to go for Fasty instead, collecting more fresh hooks. We do still have a pellet to play here, relatively fast broken. Is there another pellet? No, this pellet is already gone, so there is no way for Fasty to go, and we will see another down relatively soon.
Yeah, like I said, with that shadow dance, he's able to just work through these map resources really fast. It's essentially pressured so many different ways, and he's going to kick that gen apply eruption, takes all the time he needs in the world. And does he manage to block that window? No, he doesn't, actually. The collision didn't quite happen, and isn't able to get in Crow's way, but this might still be a down. Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, not quite enough distance to prevent the uncloak. Believe that's an uncloak speed add-on that he's running, so good value from that. And Fasty running around injured. Crow gonna stay sleeping on the floor, and yeah, I imagine he probably doesn't really want to. He doesn't need to hook. He can just sort of try and find these survivors lurking around. When you patrol gens like this as Wraith, it's making full use of that speed and power when cloaked. So he's able to just ensure there's no other pressure being applied on the map. So I think he's playing this as methodically as he should and needs to.
Yeah, we do see another chase onto game over, and what the survivors are doing right now is just trying to drag the Wraith away from the slug so they can pick up in the distance, but if they are not able to do it fast enough, the Wraith will catch up, and this game could end with 3 generators standing. We do have the down onto game over. Crow and Fasty are back on their feet, but we do see scratch marks, and we will now have a constant chase situation. One survivor needs to be in chase, one survivor is slugged on the ground, and one survivor has to go for the pickup, so there is no generator progress at all. We do see the uncloak. Oh, we do not get the pickup in time, most likely. And this could be the death sentence for the Rapture survivors if they do not get it pick up in time, because now you have both survivors in the same room slugged, and you can afford to hook Crow, who has already been hooked, and Fasty is around the corner to pick up game over, but this is really, really risky.
Look at that, the mangled slowing down the pickup even, like these seconds are counting. Fasty's not able to get the pickup, like you say, game over gonna go down, and he sees Fasty, so I think, yeah, so really, really good result here for Sinners on their own pick, and this is going to be a big mountain to climb for Rapture's killer. going to continue chase, but it's just a matter of time before this down does come through. And yeah, I want to say clearly SMS has a plan for this game, and he's executed it really well. And unfortunately, the pressure at the start of the game really didn't, like, they weren't able to get back on their feet. It was just a constant sort of onslaught of hits, hooks, and then the eruption as well spread across the map. Pretty textbook game of Wraith, if you ask me, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree. Once SMS had control over the game, he never let go of it, and the servers were just in a lose-lose situation. They could not work the generators, they had to constantly pick themselves up, and they did not opt to go for the reset. Maybe at one point they should have let one survivor laying on the ground draw back a bit and go for a reset in the distance to give themselves some room to breathe, but this did not work out. And so we see a 4K with 3 generators standing.
Yep, just waiting for the Huck timers to count down, and props to Derelic for the switching camera there as the Wraith was spinning around because my dizzy eyes could not handle it. But yeah, I mean, Sinners have just sort of really dominated the set so far. I think as we expected, we knew they were a really good team. They're well established and they're strong. And this sort of hit and run strategy, the mobile movement around the map, it's pretty standard for Wraith and very, very powerful, I think. So there's going to be a 4K3. What can Rapture do to really answer that? I guess that is the question. But we will return shortly after a short break, get the next match set up, and we'll be right back. So don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Welcome back, everyone. We are watching Rapture's Killer with a tall order right now on Midwich Elementary School. Due to the hook stage penalty, Sinners only have to complete 2 generators to secure the win. So very difficult win condition for this Wraith. Already getting a god pal out of the way, finding a first survivor, opting to instead chase somebody else. And it looks like it is going to be Jason found. But here's Jen being worked on here in the corner. We see the build Dragon Script Nurses Calling, a little bit different to what we saw last game. A bit more of an information build, especially where the healing's concerned. And Dragon Script going to come in onto Gustavo there. So let's see if Rion can capitalize on that with the exposed status effect. Has got a pallet here. Is going to opt to drop it. And Jake going to play this pallet. There's a window vault here, so he is safe for now. And looks like he vaulted back off into that room. Does make it to that pallet, so is safe. Dragon Script just going to last long. And nice. Okay, so they do take the hit. Jason takes the hit. Going to get Gustavo to safety. But still does want to commit instead. Has got the Sloppy Butcher applied onto Jason. So that's going to be a bit of a nice slowdown to start him out. And yeah, that is going to be the exposed going down on that pallet. Is there anyone around for the save? I think he's too far into it for the save to happen. Yeah, so that's going to be a first hook. Getting good value from that Dragon Script.
Yeah, absolutely. I was totally sure that Dragon Script was already off, so Gustavo had not to worry about a potential first down here. Yeah, Dragon Script value is insane right now, but we do see the difference in killer builds actually. We do see a Nurse Calling, so as you pointed out, a little bit more information than we had in the last trial. But it's kind of odd that Ryan is bringing an information perk for healing survivors when his own team in the last trial did not opt to heal at all. So that's kind of interesting if you ask me.
Yeah, I think that it's pretty, like I said, I think before, like it's pretty typical for Wraiths in general because it's just a good use for how he is kind of. Oh, that is going to be Sweet Child found. A Jen has popped, and we do have good progress across the map, so getting closer to that win condition. Rion absolutely needs to look after these gens if he wants to make sure that he is not losing this match. And yeah, I mean, if they just play to the win condition, it should be fairly straightforward for Sinners. 3 injuries on the board, and he's found Jason the 4th. How long is he going to commit to this chase? Oh, does unfortunately get pallet stunt out of power. Gonna continue chasing and sees they see the nurses calling healing, and is he gonna opt to swing? He is gonna swing. I could see that happening as soon as that aura was shown, and that is eruption applied on that gen in the distance. I believe that Jason was working on. I can't remember which survivor. But yeah, just wants to slug because essentially he cannot let another gem be done, otherwise it's a game over. So slugging might be the right strat for him right now. And you see the silent bell in play. Unfortunately, the pickup does come up. And that is going to be... Oh, wait, did the stun come through before the hit happened? I think that's what happened there. So the pickup happened and they were both on either side of the pallet, which is a bit unfortunate for Rion because now all survivors are up and scouring the map for that last gen.
As far as I could see, the only healthy survivor was going for the pickup, so the hit did not go through onto the downed survivor that recently got picked up because it got body blocked. So Nurse Calling is doing a lot of work so far in this game. We have 2 relatively quick downs, and this could snowball out of control. Yeah, actually, they need to reset somehow, otherwise this game might be over. If
Rion finds them. Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, if Rion finds them, it could be over. I mean, I don't know if... Yeah, it looks like they're relatively safe. He does have that silent bell, which is proving really, really handy in conjunction with that nurse's calling. But they do get the full reset in, so that's like probably worst case solution. He has found them. What I said? Oh, unfortunately, getting stuck on the hook there. Pallet's going to be dropped, and we see Jason running for this for these pickups. So. Unfortunately, not able to capitalize on the pressure, is opting not to commit to chase, probably smiles that Jason's going up here for these resets. And yes, Bucky has been picked up, and it looks like Gustavo has been too. Gonna take that hit and protect the injured survivor. This is pretty intense, all things considered. Sinner's, he's doing really well to keep the pressure on them because they're not able to get any of these gens done while set on the floor. So playing it exactly how he should with the situation. Bucky gonna go down, and yeah, for the survivors right now, yeah, it seems like they're getting on gens and just instead of going for heals, a bit of a riskier play, but considering the nurse is calling, might be the smarter move, to be honest. Jason now in chase on this pallet and not even gonna be able to unfortunately make it anywhere. Yeah, so just complete slugging, does not want to get any let any gens get done. Bucky's going to get picked up, and yeah, we can see they're sort of trying to get back on their feet and get these gens done, but he rightly is not letting them do that.
Yeah, right now the survivors of Sinners must have figured out already that this Wraith is running Nurse Calling, or they think they're just really, really unlucky and Wraith is always there at the perfect time. But this game is at quite a stalemate. We do see the resets in the distance. They decide not to pick up Jason yet. Never mind. Jason is up and running. And we do saw the auras of 2 survivors over there, but the reset is complete. And we do not have any generator progress in the meantime. Jason will go to the ground immediately. Bucky is reset. And this is the first time Sinners is in a good position in this game after they finish the first generator. All survivors that are not Jason are healthy. And from this position on, they might be able to work on something.
He's getting so much value from Eruption right now with these slugs. And I have to give it to Rion. He's doing really well to stop Sinners from doing any gens whatsoever. And yeah, takes the pallet side, which is really smart there. Sweet Child's going to opt to drop down because of that zoning. So yeah, I did just he essentially needs to make sure he can find survivors as quick as possible. And this Nurse's calling is literally saving his game right now. And the silent bell add-on, the reset does come through, so it's not going to be a down. That's probably worst case scenario in that situation. Gustavo is going to be chased instead of the Adam. Does have this pallet here and does get the hit. Really nice hit there, really important. And as long as he can keep these survivors injured, he's going to be safe, I suppose. But this gen is 50. They're getting pretty close. You can see the progression is moving upwards, so he's getting closer and closer to losing. He needs to find these survivors on these gens. He needs to know which ones they're working on, and it's just a constant like race towards these objectives. And it's going to be Jason going down the silent bell again. catching them off guard. And Eruption's now applied to that gen. Jason's going to be left, and Gustavo's working on a gen upstairs. Sweet Child's back on a gen as well. Bucky is running from the Wraith, and they're surely but surely just probably playing for this win condition now after they realized what the Wraith is trying to do. And as long as they play this properly, it should result in that second gen being done. But yeah, I mean, I did not expect this to be as intense as it is. Let's just say that.
Yeah, I totally agree. But now they do have 3 generators with relatively high progress. Gustavo's gen is nearly finished, so if the Wraith is not able to find Gustavo in time, which he is most likely, Bucky's back on the generator. He doubled with Jason. I think it's just a matter of time before the Survivor team of Sinners can finish one of those generators, because they're really, really spread out, and Ryan does have a hard time at defending all of them at once. The win condition is kinda bad for him, because he's only allowed to let 1 generator go. That already happened. He does have 2 down survivors, never mind, already 1 survivor back up and standing. Gustavo's still slugged upstairs, but the second generator should come any minute now.
Yeah, the slug was in that room next to that gen. Oh, but they're resetting. They're not getting on the gen, and it's giving Rion the time he needs to stop them from doing it. And the reset does not come through, and then Sweet Child is also injured. This is... this could be a bit of a mistake from the Survivor side of things. You've got 2 people slugged, a third one about to happen, and as long as Rion plays his cards right, he should be able to close this out. Gustavo does get picked up, so it's just a matter of time. Well, he just needs to make it back there. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit rinse and repeat, but Rion's objective is just stopping the gens being done. And when the survivors are choosing to heal, it's giving Rion the time that he needs to stop, to pressure these areas, essentially.
Yeah, we are in a bit of precarious situation. We do find Gustavo over here. Jason is picked up in distance by Bucky. Sweet Child still slugged on the ground. We do not decide to slug Gustavo to the ground because Ryan knows he's on a timer right now. This gen has relatively high progress, and we do see another down onto Bucky. But this is a really, really intense match. One mistake from Ryan or the survivor side of Sinners, and this game could be over any second.
Yeah, it is unfortunately quite a slow game, but it's the only way Rion can really play it to try and secure this win for Team Rapture when they're so behind, with such a difficult win condition. There's no real other way you can play it. So, yeah, Bucky gets picked up. Has Eruption applied on that gen? Not so much on the others. I think they're trying to just... Oh, okay, so that's going to be second gen. So, unfortunately for Rion, he is not able to stop the second gen from being completed. So that is going to be Sinners taking the set 2-0. All things considered, I think we can have a round of applause for the Rapture killer here to hold this so well and getting absolute value from his perks.
Yeah, absolutely. With the win condition he was given by himself and the survivors that played earlier for Team Rapture in the trial, this is an absolute great performance by Ryan here. There might be another generator from Team Sinners just to make sure, but the win condition is already reached, and let's see how the rest of the trial will unfold. If we get outs in this game after such a dramatic mid-game, this would be hilarious.
Yeah, he might opt to hook now because that gen is complete, which he does. Gonna get a hook onto Gustavo and giving the survivors time to reset off in the distance. Pretty far away, so you can imagine they'd be quite safe. Sweet Chad still slugged on the ground. And yes, of course, now that the game's won, it's just playing for fun, I imagine. We see Jason lurking, has been found. Bucky's still injured, and Survivor's still on the floor and on the hook. So I imagine he is running for the save somewhat. Yeah, so pickup comes through onto the Jake. Gonna leave Jason, go back, try and protect this hook. And it is It is just a matter of time. Hopefully he can get these downs. But yeah, he's just not able to, like, they're not able to get any sort of ground or distance because he's playing the map so well. Being able to memorize where you've slugged a survivor, I mean, I struggle to do it if I play killer, but he's doing super well, especially on a big map like Midwich, where they could run pretty much anywhere. Resources are relatively not depleted, unfortunately. Gustavo is not able to hide in that locker. Swing not going to come through on the pallet, and does have this pallet for safety here. Oh, nice fake from Gustavo there.
We're slowly reaching the point where the bleed-out timers will come in clutch. Sweet Child is almost dead on the ground, and if Ryan can keep this up for some more time after sacrificing Gustavo, obviously, we do have our first sacrifice here, this could still turn into a good 4K result for Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, you can be happy with that as a result in general, even though it doesn't get you the win. It's still a strong result that you can be happy with. It just shows you that their Rapture, it's no joke. They are serious about their playstyle, and they can see a reset upstairs. Just gonna go to it. Yeah, Nurse is calling. Definitely a key perk here for Rion's playstyle, and actually gets the hit onto Sweet Child. Not able to get the down, but it's a matter of time. There is a pallet here, and yeah, I think that the slugging that happens, they still have quite a lot of pallets to be using. Of course, he's winning these mind games really nicely. Sweet Child is very close to bleeding out. Gustavo did unfortunately perish, so that's going to be 2 survivors dead, and the last 2 injured. Wine going to come through. Not the safest area to be in for the Dwight. And unfortunately, slow vaulting over there, going to get met with a Wraith. Hit to the face. And just Jason now. Oh no, he gets the pickup onto Sweet Child. Although the next time that Sweet Child goes down, I imagine it's going to be a fairly very quick bleed out. But yeah, just clean up really for Rion. Trying to make sure he can secure good results so he feels good about it. But Sinners can be happy that they took this set this time.
Yep. For anyone wondering, the bleed out awards the full amount of stages, so even if Ryan decides to slug all of them and leave them to die on the ground without hooking anyone, we would still have the full stage result.
Yep. Opts to continue the slug onto Bucky. Probably just doesn't want to get any gens after. I mean, he's keeping the pressure on pretty nicely. And going upstairs, like you said, the bleed outs do still result in 3 stages, which is why they can opt to slug, and it also makes for interesting win conditions, especially, and allows them to happen. Allows comebacks like this to happen. Unfortunately, not able to hold on to it, but it does show you the potential of games like this being so intense. That is Sweet Child going to bleed out as he takes to the floor. Jason's going to go down, just needs to find Bucky and secure that 4K.
This is also one of the longest games we've had in the Winter Circuit so far. We are crossing the 17-minute mark. We know Wraith games tend to be a bit slower, but also how the mid-game played out and the whole setup for the trial was with the relatively hard win condition for Rapture and the long gen defending on 4 generators remaining. We've seen a pretty long trial, but now Bucky decides there is no point in looping the Wraith anymore.
Why am I still running away? I don't know. Let's just die, shall we?
Yeah, Sinners already won the set. Jason will bleed out relatively soon, so I assume Ryan is not going for the pickup there. And yeah, pretty convincing performance by Sinners in the end. We do get a pickup to give ourselves some more time to talk. Clear win in the Nurse set and a really exciting Wraith set. Rapture's moving down to the lower bracket. They are not out yet. We are having a double elimination bracket. We will see them again in the future. And Sinners will be staying in the winner bracket, in the upper bracket. And I guess they are playing the winner of Severance versus Jinx, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't quite remember the bracket, but I think that sounds about right. That is also an exciting matchup, the Severance versus Jinx matchup, because of how well we saw Severance perform in the Ohalo's League. I think we have a lot of interesting teams this circuit.
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
honest, I'm super excited. For example, our next matchup is Synapse versus Calamity, I believe, and that's going to be, I think, a really could be a very close matchup, which I'm excited for. And these best of threes, whilst they are still over, well, they are over relatively quickly, but they still can be exciting and intense. And I'm sure that's what everyone's here to watch. Not just one-sided massacres, but close sets like this, which really put teams on the edge and test their abilities as well. But yeah, I'd say very well played for Rapture. They fought very hard, even though Sinners did take the win. And I think they can be happy with their performance regardless, especially after being so close